Well, welcome to another edition of the New England Racing Show, Manchester, New Hampshire, Channel 23, and also on YouTube. I'm your host, Bill Sturgis, and we've got a full thing today. We went down to Stafford Speedway on Saturday, this past Saturday, and the International Super Modified Association was there with the big block supers. And these things are the ultimate in short track cars. But anyway, here's a little view from the pits of Stafford Speedway. The track is in the background there, and they got just a beautiful facility. The pits are all paved, beautiful grandstands, right there a huge snack bar, and really reasonable prices. They're not good food, not there to rip you off by any means. And here's the pits. We took a walk through and checked out. There's John McKennedy's car. I guess it's a Dunnigan car from a few years ago, and they purchased it. It's I believe they're all running about 460 cubic inch Chevy engines, and they run on methanol, and these things are like monsters. I don't know how many horse, 6, 7, 800 horse. You lose track after a while. But we were pitted next to McKennedy with our puny little NEMA light car, and it seemed like a toy compared to their car. And this is the 32 of, they call him Timmy J, because no one can pronounce his last name, Jaderzik. As you can see, the engines are offset way to the left. Your left side weight is around 67%, I believe. The wings have shocks, air shocks, that allow them to go up and down depending on the pressure put on them. That's the 78 of Mark Samet. He won at Lee a few years ago. '39 of Allison Cummins. Her and her brother both race. And she used to race quarter midgets in Pennsylvania. Now she's running the ultimate big block supers. That's the 17 of Ben Seitz. He used to race NEMA. And virtually all these drivers are the best of the best. Russ Wood, 8-time super modified champ, wasn't here. His car wasn't ready. But I remember reading where Russ said that this is the ultimate thrill in driving any kind of car, is a big block super modified. They have a fuel tank on the side there next to the driver, and another one behind the driver for the longer races. Like at Star, they'll go 150 laps. Oswego, 200. This was a 50-lap race at Stafford. This is a 37 of Jeff Locke. Spent a lot of time checking this car out. It was superbly done, and looking at this car was almost like looking at an Indy car. Everything was spotless and perfect on it. Really, the camera doesn't do it justice. The 98 of Justin Belfiore. He's a long-time racer. And his dad, Jim Belfiore, raced back in the 70s and 80s, and Jim actually builds these cars out in California now. And I guess Justin helps him with that. And Justin has a graphic design company also, and works on supers. He can do anything.
Dave and I were working on this job together. Where'd you get that from? Oh, you didn't take the head back off it at all.
51. That's Dave Dugan. And Dave is from Milford, New Hampshire. There's a 25 driven by Danny Bowes. He raced small block supers at Lee for a while and just last year decided to get into the big block supers. And he's doing pretty decent. It's a family-owned car, as many of these are.
Hi, PJ.
That's Mom. See all the fuel lines and oil lines everywhere.
Jake, you're a cheat. Hey, well done. Well done.
Number 11.
On my picture. Wanted for murder in Texas.
Chris Purley.
You are?
One of his crew members says he's wanted for murder in Texas. So we got a mugshot of him, if anyone knows who he is. Oh yeah, Chris is a multi-time champion. He is the man as far as ISMA is concerned. The 71, the other team car, is driven by Lou Ciccone.
Oh, yeah.
He also drives midgets and is just pretty much a legend. Liquid Lou, they call him. And the 55 of Mike Keeler. He's from Connecticut. He raced quarter midgets also. 21 family, the Whitcomb family, and Eddie Whitcomb Jr. is driving this car. Looks like a brand new car. And Eddie's dad, Eddie Sr., was a super modified star back in the 70s and 80s at Star Speedway. He drove the white number 21. Back in the old days, and there was a lot of them. It was really intense competition back then, just as it is now. Eddie came up from the small block supers. Eddie Jr. did. He did everything he could do there, and now he's running the big block cars, and he's doing real well. And this is the 84 of Mike Litke. Mike's from Ontario. I really like the graphics on this car. It's really a beautiful car. The 74, driven by Rob Summers. It's owned by Brad Litke from Ontario. Rob's driven other big block supers in the past year or two. '65 of Tim Ice, the Iceman. Tim's from Ohio. Came all the way out here for this race. Just shows you how committed people are. Driving 1,200 miles for a race that lasts 10 minutes. There's much more to it than that. Just throwing that out. And this is the 61 built by Clyde Booth, who's a legend in super modified as far as chassis and building cars. He used to build cars for Ollie Silver, and I believe Jimmy Champagne drove his cars. There's a lot of innovations that Clyde does that have made the cars a lot faster. And what Clyde's done, I was watching a video from Oswego, and Clyde actually changed the whole face of super modified racing at Oswego by taking the wingless supers that run out there and adding a lot of aerodynamics to them. And now everyone's doing that. And it was Clyde that, I understand, started that. So we got the whole race on tape, and we're going to bring you that. We didn't just follow the leader. We looked around and saw where the battles were in the field and tried to follow a lot of the passing. So here they are, taking the green. Stafford's a half-mile track. It's pretty big. Not compared to New Hampshire Speedway, it's half the size, but compared to like a lot of the tracks that we race at, Star and Lee, it's a pretty darn big track, and it's really beautiful. I believe that's Chris Purley and Mike Littke taking the lead there. And then the 71 of Lou Ciccone was right there in third place. I believe that's the Iceman right up there also. But it's 50 laps, not including the yellows. Keeler working his way up through the field, the 55 car. Justin Belfiore right behind him. And there's no pit stops in this race. It's start to finish. So you try to set your car up to handle pretty well at the end. A lot of the tight racing involved the 32 car of Timmy J. He was fighting it out with a couple of other cars through the whole race, so if we're watching him most of the race, forgive me. I just wanted to show you where the closest battles were. I think that's Justin that is up there in the top of turn 4. And just for you newer fans, these cars have to be pushed to be started. There's no transmission or clutch. Here's the restart. It's amazing how they can run that close together with those kind of speeds going through the corners. That's why these are the best drivers in New England right here. I believe that's Chris Purley and Mike Lichten fighting it out. Mike Lichten was just amazing that night. He drove away from everybody. There's Timmy J again running right up front. In the infield, they put on a heck of a show. They say the best cup races are at Martinsville and Bristol, and this would be right there with them. Nice little half-mile track where they could beat and bang on each other. Can't do that with a Super, though. believe that's the 78 of Mark Samet fighting it out with Timmy J. And they went at it the whole race. We have single file restarts, and I can see why. We were pretty lucky, although it was threatening skies up here in New Hampshire, and it was actually raining when we left in the morning to go down there. It was a beautiful day down there. No rain, partly cloudy, and just a nice day to race. that's it. Mike Littke just ran away with this race. And there he is in victory lane, the 84.
Mike, what a terrific race. I mean, Lou took off in the beginning part of the race.
Just dominated. Second place.
Lou took off in the beginning part of the race, made some unbelievable passes down low. You were consistent lap after lap after lap. And the car, once you got the fresh air in the front of the car, you just seemed to drive away from the field. He did, you know, he caught me off.
So I'd say they did pretty well this weekend. Well, I'm not sure what we're going to tape this weekend, because you always plan something and then with the rain we get washed out. But Lee Speedway has their regular weekly show with the small blocks, hobby stocks, the late model sportsmen. And the ACT and American Canadian Tour will be at Star Speedway on Saturday night. So I hope that we can show you that. And we'll show you something. Every week we'll be at one of the speedways. And if those two rain out, then we'll be glad to go back to Hudson Speedway. We went there earlier this year and we had a good time. They have the 6-cylinder modifieds, really nice cars. And Ironmen or Roadrunners, whatever. And we watched a youngster who looked like he was about 14 years old win the race. He was quite a driver. So we'll be at one of these tracks, and we'll have a show for you next week. And thanks for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the Super Modifieds. We certainly did.